Y'all, Rihanna just did the unthinkable. And if you thought things were cool between her, Drake, AAP Rocky, and Travis Scott, baby, think again. Because this ain't just shade, this is a full-blown bomb dropped on live cameras, and the aftermath might have just ended two long-standing rap relationships forever. It started with a fashion show. Just another Fenty rollout, right? Wrong. Because the second Rihanna stepped on that carpet, reporters could feel the tension in the air. And then, one viral clip changed everything. One line whispered, but caught on mic, and the internet froze. "He never loved me, it was all performance. But that's done now. Who is she talking about? Oh, we found out real quick." Within hours, social media sleuths connected the dots. Subtle Instagram likes, a deleted Drake post from 2016, a very specific lyric from Travis, last EP, and a private jet flight Rocky took alone just 2 nights before. And then, boom. Rihanna dropped a visual teaser that had fans gasping, featuring a broken gold chain, a scorpion crushed under her heel, and the words, "No more pretending." Fans are shook, the Navy is on fire, and the industry scrambling to pick sides. Did Drake finally cross the line? Did Rocky find out something we weren't supposed to know? And how does Travis Scott fit into this messy triangle? Trust me, we've got receipts, eyewitness tea, secret recordings, and a leaked voicemail that changes everything. And yes, we're naming names. The moment Rihanna walked into that Fenty event, something was already off. Not in how she looked, because let's be clear, she looked like power. Red silk, icy wrist, eyes like she knew she was walking into war. The cameras flashed, the media screamed her name, but if you look closely, if you slow that video down from the very beginning, you see it. She wasn't smiling, not like usual. She wasn't walking in with AAP Rocky. And that was the first red flag. Because anytime Rihanna pulls up, especially when it's business-related, Rocky's usually 2 steps behind her, cool, calm, playing bodyguard and boyfriend all in one. But this time, nowhere in sight. And when reporters asked where he was, Rihanna brushed it off with the coldest line of the night. "He's around, just not here for this." Boom, the tone was set, and the internet didn't waste a second. Clips hit the timeline before the event even ended. People were speculating, making TikToks, saying Rihanna's energy ain't right tonight. But nobody expected what came next. Because just 40 minutes into the event, backstage security started moving heavy. And then, AAP Rocky was spotted storming out of the back exit, hoodie on, head down, and according to one source, muttering something about not being a puppet. Within seconds, TMZ posted the photos. And the caption, "Tension at Fenty, Rocky leaves solo, sources say there's trouble brewing." That's when things exploded. People started digging, scrolling, going back through interviews, lives, old songs, and even commercials to figure out what was happening. And then someone noticed something that had been sitting in plain sight since 2 weeks before. A limited edition Fenty product had dropped with no promo from Drake, despite him being tagged in the release. That's odd, right? Drake, the same man who once called Rihanna, the love of his life, live on the VMA stage, ignored her product. Fans had questions. Then the comments under that Fenty post started to disappear. All Drake-related comments, gone, and then Drake unfollowed the Fenty page altogether. Quiet shade, digital cutoff, silent fallout. But it didn't stop there. Because that's when a certain journalist, known for her messy posts and dangerous close proximity to the industry, dropped a screenshot. A blurry but real-looking text thread between a Fenty team member and a private stylist, allegedly discussing the guest list for the event. The line that got everybody stuck: Drake asked if she wanted him to walk with her. She said no, said that era is dead. That's when the narrative shifted from Rihanna and Rocky are in trouble to Rihanna's cutting ties publicly with all her exes. But there's more. A second leak came in from a makeup artist who had worked on set with Travis Scott just days earlier. In a now-deleted Instagram story, they posted, "It's so weird being around someone who pretends like they're not heartbroken, but still has photos saved from a past no one knows about." They didn't name names, but fans did. People zoomed in, enhanced reflections, analyzed timestamps. They concluded that the photos mentioned were of Rihanna and Travis, a situationship that most people assumed had ended years ago. So now, we had a triangle, or better yet, a square: Rihanna, AAP, Drake, Travis. And then the visuals dropped. Rihanna's teaser, posted 12 hours after the event, shook the internet. It was 47 seconds, all symbolism, but the Navy decoded it instantly. The crushed scorpion under her heel, that was Drake. The lit match tossed into a room full of mannequins wearing puffer jackets. Fans said that was Travis Scott. The red silk blindfold she pulled off slowly, staring straight into the lens, whispering, "No more pretending," that was Rocky. The comment section was pure chaos. Sis airing them out. "This ain't no Fenty ad, this is a funeral. Travis better deactivate now." Wait, why did Drake post a black square with no caption right after this? And Drake's post, just like Kendrick's in the LSU story, it hit different. Because this wasn't subtle anymore. This was war. A day later, the second blow landed. A voicemail surfaced. Leaked through a source connected to an Atlanta-based studio, the recording was allegedly captured during a private phone call between Drake and an unknown friend. The voice was undeniably his. You could hear the frustration, the heartbreak, and the ego. "She used me, twice. Once for clout, once for silence. And I let her, that's on me." Boom, fans started connecting dots. What did he mean by "once for silence"? Did Rihanna keep him quiet about something? And why was Drake airing this out now? 2 hours after the voicemail hit, Travis Scott's account posted a cryptic Instagram story with just one word. Snake, the snake emoji. The timing, the silence from Rihanna. People were throwing theories around like grenades. One TikTok went super viral, over 9 million views in under 10 hours, claiming that Travis and Drake had once agreed to never speak on Rihanna publicly again after a major blowout at a Grammy afterparty in 2018. According to this theory, Travis broke that code during a studio session earlier this year when he allegedly played a scrap track titled Muse, rumored to be about Rihanna. The lyrics, "You only text when your crown gets heavy, you only love me when it's deadly." It was never released, but now, fans were wondering if that song had somehow made its way back to Rihanna. And if it did, her entire rollout might have been her response. Meanwhile, Rocky was spiraling. Sources close to the couple told media that he'd been on edge for weeks, ever since Rihanna had her last meeting with her creative director. That meeting, according to insiders, was when she decided to use the scorpion, the mannequins, the silk, all of it, to symbolically close doors to her past. Rocky had reportedly pushed back, saying, "This ain't branding anymore. This is personal. You're not just sending a message, you're sending shots." But Rihanna didn't budge. "It's always been personal, you just didn't see it before." That line hit deep, and when she said it, she wasn't wearing makeup. No cameras, no lights, just her, Rocky, and that energy between them that had clearly shifted into something darker. Rocky left that night, didn't come back for 3 days, and when he did, he wasn't alone. When Rocky finally walked back into that penthouse after going ghost for 3 days, the tension in the air was thick. Rihanna had just finished a closed-door meeting with her Fenty team, supposedly finalizing the next campaign drop, but her phone was blowing up nonstop. Everyone was reacting to the teaser. Everyone had an opinion. And one question kept echoing louder than all the rest. Where is Rocky? She didn't expect him to walk in that night, but she definitely didn't expect who walked in with him. Standing 2 steps behind Rocky was Melissa Ford, Rihanna's oldest friend, ex-stylist, ex-inner circle, and the one person who had been missing from Riz's side for over 2 years. Melissa was the type to move in silence, but when she disappeared from Rihanna's life in 2021, right around the time Rocky became a permanent fixture, fans noticed. Some said it was distance. Others claimed it was tension. But now, she was back, in the middle of this storm. Rihanna's eyes locked on hers the second she walked in, and according to someone inside the room, the vibe turned ice cold. Melissa didn't smile, didn't hug, didn't explain. She just stood behind Rocky like she was there to witness something. Rihanna looked him up and down. "So that's what we're doing now? You bring ghosts to my house." Rocky didn't flinch. "I needed someone who remembers who you were before all this." Boom, that was the start of the most explosive conversation Rihanna and Rocky ever had. And someone allegedly recorded parts of it from the hallway. In one clip, you hear chairs shuffle, someone pacing, Rihanna's voice rising. "You mad because I'm using my art to speak for me? You ain't said a word when I was breaking inside. Now I finally talk and suddenly you feel left out." Rocky's voice is low, tight, clipped. "You didn't talk, you performed. You made the whole world your diary, but forgot who was in the room with you when sh*T was falling apart. Melissa stayed quiet, observing, holding her purse like it held secrets. That confrontation lasted over an hour. When it ended, Rocky stormed out again, this time without Melissa. He left her with Rihanna. And what happened in the next 15 minutes? Changed everything. Melissa and Rihanna sat in silence for at least 5 of those minutes, barely breathing, just locked in that old friend stare. And then Melissa spoke. You think the pain you've been holding didn't touch the people who actually loved you. We stayed quiet so you could shine. But now you're burning the people who protected you when no one else did. Rihanna responded flat. Protected me, or protected the version of me that made y'all comfortable. Melissa blinked hard. I protected the girl before the billion-dollar empire. The one who called me crying after Drake ghosted her. The one who stayed in that hotel after Travis showed up with somebody else. The one who ain't know if she'd ever feel safe in love again. And that's when the floodgates opened. According to someone close to the situation, Rihanna broke down crying. Not performative, not for effect, but real, quiet, heavy, shoulders shaking. Because Melissa, she wasn't just a friend from the past. She knew everything. She knew about the 2018 dinner, the one where Rihanna told Travis it was over, but he still tried to hold her hand in public 2 weeks later, causing the entire media to think they were back together. She knew about the voicemail Drake left after the 2016 VMAs, the one where he apologized for making their love a moment instead of a memory. She knew about the studio meltdown, the night Rihanna was supposed to record vocals for a secret Travis project and walked out after hearing a track he made that mocked the very relationship he begged her to keep quiet about. Melissa had seen it all, and now she was back not to restart the friendship but to remind Rihanna of her truth. And this is where the next twist drops. That night, while Rihanna and Melissa were still in the penthouse, Travis Scott went live. Out of nowhere, no announcement, no promo, he just hit live and stared into the camera. For 30 full seconds he said nothing, just stared. Then he played a beat. One fans recognized instantly. The unreleased Muse track. He didn't rap, he didn't explain, he just let it play. And when the line hit, "You only love me when it's deadly," Travis smirked, looked into the camera and said, "She ain't the only one with a pen." Then he ended the live. The comments section went insane. TRAVISU wild for this. He just came for Riz neck. Bro really said it's up now. Drake, Travis, Rocky, all this over one woman. But the most viral comment, "You messed with a billion-dollar savage. Don't cry when she ends your career next." By morning, Rihanna's silence was all anyone could talk about. Was she gonna respond? Was she gonna clap back with another visual? But instead, she posted a single Instagram story, a photo of an old, beat-up journal. Open, with one sentence written in black pen, "They only remember your silence when you finally scream." No tag, no mention, no sound. But then the camera panned slightly, and there it was. Melissa's hand gently turning the page. Fans pieced it together instantly. Melissa was back in the circle, which meant Rocky might be out of it. And Drake, Travis, already past the point of return. But what nobody knew was that someone else, someone very unexpected, had been watching everything. And she was about to enter the chat. The entire internet thought they had seen the final twist. That Rihanna had said her piece, reclaimed her voice, and left the boys scrambling. Drake's silence was embarrassing. Travis' weak livestream backfired. Rocky, still spiraling. But what nobody expected was for her to get involved. Not a friend, not a label exec, not another artist. Monica Fenty, Rihanna's mother. Yep. Mama Fenty herself entered the chat, and when she did, the narrative flipped overnight. Quiet for years, rarely speaking in public, never posting about drama until now. And the way she did it? Subtle, surgical, chilling. She posted an old photo. Not just any old photo, one that fans hadn't seen in over a decade. It was young Rihanna, barely 18, with Drake standing beside her. Smiling, awkward, pre-fame explosion, pre-VMAs, pre-billionaire status. The caption? Some bonds were never real. Some smiles were always rehearsed. The truth don't age. No tags, no hashtags, but it didn't take long for the world to get the message. And once again, the internet exploded. Mama FENTY said ITSUP. Bro, not Rihanna's mom confirming Drake was fake. She just opened the vault y'all didn't know existed. But it didn't stop there. Monica Fenty followed up her post by appearing, for the first time in years, at a Barbados women's panel. And when asked about protecting young women in the spotlight, she didn't hold back. You can raise a daughter to speak with grace, but there comes a time where silence is no longer healing. It becomes enabling. My daughter learned that too late. But she's speaking now, and some folks can't handle what they once manipulated. Fans were gagging. No one was ready. Because for Monica Fenty to break her silence, you know the energy behind Rihanna's recent moves wasn't petty, it was personal. That same day, sources confirmed Rihanna and Rocky had officially separated, not just emotionally, but legally. A source close to her team said, there was no explosive fight, no slamming doors. She just handed him the keys and said, I'm choosing me this time. Rocky moved out quietly, but what leaked 2 days later? Not quiet at all. A photo surfaced. Rocky at dinner with someone nobody expected, Kylie Jenner. Fans lost their minds. Now, we all remember the past between Kylie and Travis, but what nobody knew was that Kylie and Rocky had remained friendly behind the scenes. The same night Rocky left the penthouse for the last time, he was spotted getting into a chauffeured SUV. The same one Kylie was seen stepping out of at Giorgio Baldi later that evening. The caption on the leaked pic, new alliances forming, or old grudges linking up. That's when the rumors really started flying. Was Rocky trying to get back at Rihanna through Kylie? Was Kylie inserting herself in the drama for relevancy? Or, and here's where it gets dark, was this all connected to something deeper? Because now, the streets were whispering about a secret recording. A studio convo between Travis, Rocky, and another unnamed rapper where Rihanna's name was brought up in a very disrespectful way. No proof yet, no audio released, but insiders claimed Rihanna heard it and it changed everything. The next day, Fenty Beauty pulled all ads featuring Travis Scott products. Not delayed, not rebranded, gone, just a full wipe. Fans went from speculating to confirming. Yeah, she's done playing with these men. And then, just when you thought it couldn't go any further, another bombshell dropped. A leaked email, allegedly sent from a Spotify exec to a Fenty media liaison. The subject line, RE, track removal request. The body, per Ms. Fenty's legal representation, please proceed with the takedown of all collaborative playlists and featured artist banners involving redacted, effective immediately. It didn't say who was redacted, but fans are sure it was Drake. Because the next morning, all Rihanna x Drake playlists quietly vanished from Spotify. No more Take Care. No more Too Good. No more subtle reminders of the era Rihanna was now burying publicly. This wasn't shade anymore. This was erasure. And the industry? Shook. Even big-name producers started whispering to blogs that Rihanna was cleaning house, that she was prepping an era unlike anything before, that she wasn't just dropping music, she was dropping truth. But here's the catch. All of this made fans hungry. Too hungry. They wanted more than just symbolism. More than just visual metaphors and deleted playlists. They wanted words. And Rihanna, she finally delivered. Out of nowhere, she announced a live sit-down interview, her first in almost 4 years. No journalist, no fluff. Just her, one camera, her truth, set to air globally. No filters. When the teaser dropped, it was simple. Black background, Rihanna staring into the lens. One question on screen, what happened between you and them? She exhales, cuts her eyes. Everything, then blackout. Fans were left screaming. Previews were dissected frame by frame. TikTok speculating what she'd say. Would she expose the studio track? Would she address Rocky's betrayal? Would she tell the real story behind her split with Drake? And more than anything, would she finally tell the truth about Travis? Because that's the piece no one ever had the full picture on. Their romance had always been kept low. Quiet. Brief. But clearly, it had lingered longer than anyone knew, and according to a music insider, there's a verse she wrote that never dropped, about Travis. If that ever leaks, it's game over. And just when fans thought the fire was already too hot to handle, one final screen recording hit the blogs, a DM from Rihanna's burner, sent to one of Travis Scott's fan pages after they tried to defend him in a viral post. Keep talking, let's see who still has a tour next summer. Boom. The moment that DM screenshot went viral, the entire industry went into defensive mode. Labels stopped returning calls. PR teams started issuing no comment statements before reporters even finished asking questions. And suddenly, what had once felt like a messy celebrity triangle was starting to look like a full-blown cultural earthquake. Because when Rihanna moves, she doesn't just shake people, she shifts systems. But what fans didn't realize was that Rihanna wasn't reacting anymore. She was planning. According to people close to her creative team, the interview she teased wasn't some emotional vent session. It was part of a larger rollout, a carefully timed, narrative-driven return that blended truth, symbolism, and just enough mystery to keep the world guessing. They said she didn't want revenge. She wanted closure on her own terms. And that terrified people, because closure doesn't scream, it erases. Behind the scenes, her legal team had already started moving quietly. Contracts were being reviewed, old collaborations were being flagged, past licensing deals were being restructured. It wasn't dramatic. It was surgical. People who once stood comfortably next to her name were suddenly realizing how much of their credibility was built on her silence. The first real ripple came when a long-rumored Travis Scott collaboration, one that fans had speculated about for years, was officially removed from a major label's internal release schedule. No announcement, no explanation. Just gone. Bloggers noticed first, then producers, then fans, and once again, speculation took over. Did Rihanna pull the plug? Did Travis back out? Or was this simply a casualty of an era being buried? Meanwhile, Drake's camp went radio silent. No cryptic posts, no subliminals, no defensive interviews, just quiet. And in the world of rap, silence is louder than diss tracks. Because when a man who built his career on emotional transparency stops speaking, people start wondering what he's hiding, or what he's protecting. A rumor began circulating through Toronto circles that Drake had canceled 2 studio sessions the week after Rihanna's teaser dropped. A source claimed he'd told someone close to him, "I don't want to say anything I can't take back." Whether true or not, that line traveled fast. Then there was Rocky. Rocky tried to act like nothing was wrong. He showed up at Paris Fashion Week, smiling, taking photos, playing the cool creative icon like he always does, but fans weren't buying it anymore. Not after the Penthouse exit, not after Melissa returned, not after Rihanna chose silence over reconciliation. When someone shouted Rihanna's name from the crowd, Rocky reportedly paused, just for a second, but cameras caught it. And in that second, the world saw it. He wasn't over it, not even close. And the Kylie rumors? They faded as quickly as they appeared, not because they weren't interesting, but because they were insignificant compared to what was unfolding. Rihanna wasn't fighting over people. She was stepping out of patterns. But the real shift came when the interview finally aired. No dramatic music, no flashy set, just Rihanna seated in a neutral-toned room, minimal makeup, soft lighting, eyes steady. The first question was simple: why now? Rihanna smiled slightly and said, "Because silence served me once. It doesn't anymore." She didn't name Drake, she didn't name Travis, she didn't name Rocky, but she told stories about being young in rooms full of powerful men, about confusing attention for affection, about thinking strength meant enduring quietly, about how success doesn't shield you from being misunderstood, it just makes the misunderstanding louder. She spoke about betrayal, not from one person, but from expectations, from narratives, from the idea that she had to play a role instead of being real. And then she said something that made the internet stop breathing. "There were moments when my truth would have disrupted too many careers, so I swallowed it. But swallowing poison doesn't make you strong, it makes you sick." Fans immediately started decoding that line. Careers, plural. Who was she talking about? How many stories were left untold? She followed it up with, "I'm not here to cancel anyone. I'm here to uncancel myself." And just like that, the narrative changed. This wasn't about dragging men. This was about reclaiming self. And that's when the reactions turned complicated. Some fans wanted names, some wanted receipts, some wanted revenge, but Rihanna didn't give them that. Instead, she gave them boundaries. "I don't owe the public my pain to justify my growth," she said. "I owe myself peace." And in that moment, the internet split. One side praised her for maturity. The other accused her of holding back tea. But here's the part nobody expected. At the end of the interview, she was asked if she would ever work with Drake, Rocky, or Travis again. She paused, then said calmly, "I don't revisit chapters I had to survive. Not hate, not bitterness, just finality." And that word, survive, echoed everywhere. Because suddenly, all the rumors, the leaks, the visuals, the symbolic teasers made sense. It wasn't about flexing power. It was about escaping cycles. The industry reacted immediately. Several artists publicly showed support. A few stayed quiet, some unfollowed her, others reached out privately. But one reaction stood out above all. A producer close to Travis posted, "Growth sometimes looks like silence. Respect it." Fans read between the lines. Even Travis's side wasn't pushing back anymore. And Drake, he posted one line on his story, wishing peace to everyone finding their truth. No name, no tag, just that. Some called it classy, others called it deflection. But everyone agreed on one thing: the era was over. And here's the wild part: in the middle of all this closure, Rihanna quietly announced new music. Not a single, not a snippet, just a line, "Next chapter loading." No drama, no captions about heartbreak, just forward motion. And that's when fans truly understood. She didn't drop a bomb on Drake, Rocky, or Travis. She dropped one on the version of herself that stayed silent for too long. And sometimes, that's the most powerful ending of all. Because when a woman stops explaining herself, the story stops being about who hurt her and starts being about who she became. And that scared people more than any diss ever could. So now you know. Rihanna didn't just reclaim her voice, she rewrote the whole script. No names dropped, no hashtags needed. Just truth, silence, power, and a whole lot of people left uncomfortable by a woman who no longer needs to explain herself. She didn't throw shots. She didn't clap back. She outgrew the mess, and that alone ended careers, relationships, and fake narratives. Drake's muted. Travis is ghost. Rocky walked out and might not walk back in. And meanwhile, Rihanna, she's already in her next era. And the real ones feel it. But now the question is, where do you stand? Do you think Rihanna was right for staying silent all these years and finally speaking now? Was she too soft on these men, or was her silence louder than any diss could ever be? And who do you think the line, "Swallowing poison doesn't make you strong, it makes you sick," was really aimed at? Drop your take in the comments, don't hold back. Like this video if you respect the glow up. Subscribe if you're here for real stories with real receipts, no fluff, no filter. And turn on those notifications, because if this new chapter brings new music, you already know it's gonna be laced with layers. And listen, if there's one thing Rihanna taught us through all of this, it's that healing isn't loud, but it echoes. So stay tuned, because this story may have just ended, but the next one is gonna be even louder. And trust me, you don't wanna miss what's coming next. Is gonna be even louder. And trust me, you don't wanna miss what's coming next.